For our last session before lunch, we will be talking to the CEO of TeamViewer, Oliver Steil, and he will discuss augmented reality, cutting-edge solution to empowering industries like production, maintenance, and healthcare to solve complex problems in real time and the advantage of being remote. Welcome, Oliver.
Hello, Web Summit. Thank you for joining me in our session on what we call the advantage remote. We as TeamViewer, we are a remote company, and we really believe that there is huge business value in thinking remote and thinking remote operations. And we believe there is a lot of potential. So what we focus on, apart from our classical IT support solutions, which I'm going to talk about, is really also what if you can solve almost any operational problem remotely? What if you can tackle complex problems in operations across the globe in your company? That's what we focus in. And what I'd like to show you is how companies think about it, how they embrace these opportunities with their workforce and with their infrastructure in very different industries for very different use cases. Why is that important? What are the trends in the industry? And you can take any sector anywhere in the world. There is a massive focus on efficiency. We do have a lack of skilled labor. We're missing people that come to the workplace with the right skills. We have less workers. We have problems in skilling them, in educating them, because people are not in the office that much. There's lots of hybrid work, as we heard before. So this focus on improving efficiency, automation with ever less workers and ever less ability to actually drive the knowledge of workers and develop the knowledge of workers is very, very important across industries and across the globe. If you are in factories, production downtime is a real problem. And we have seen in the past, especially after COVID, supply chain issues. We have seen reliability, resilience issues. So companies need to focus on their ability to keep production up, which is a big cost driver. And then, I think as we heard before, also global disconnectivity. People are in different places. They don't come to the office or the workplace necessarily regularly anymore. And you have to deal with it. You have to make sure you overcome these barriers and can still run your operation in a very efficient way. And that's an issue across the globe. It's many countries at the moment, obviously also in recession. So you have to tackle this in a very way. What is the solution there? The solution from our perspective, when we talk to customers, leading customers, is rethink the way you operate, rethink your workflows and centralize more and do more remotely and be less dependent and less relying on people on site that you might not know of and where you don't know the skill level. So very important, and it's not just an IT problem or an IT solution, I come to that, because you really need to touch operations, you need to touch machines, you need to touch practical stuff, technicians, nurses. I will show you examples of what people do to really rethink the way they work. The benefits are pretty clear. You can make your operations more resilient, more cost efficient. You reduce carbon emissions because there's less travel, but you need to do it properly. Let me give you a few examples of what people do, and I'll walk you through the different stages where different companies are that we work with day in and day out. First example is Henkel. I think you all know Henkel, very large consumer goods and adhesive company. They have put in a IT management infrastructure using TeamViewer to access 60,000 plus devices globally. So all kinds of IT equipment, which is then centrally managed. Think of it almost like central network management that you would have in a telecoms company. You really put the skills and the expertise in one place, and you have a global management and monitoring infrastructure, in this case for IT assets. You can do immediate troubleshooting. You have visibility on what's happening where in the world, on which device, no matter what kind of device, whether it's a tablet, a PC, a server, or maybe laboratory equipment. Everything which is carrying an IT client, you can actually see and monitor. Very easy monitoring. You take the concepts of network monitoring to your IT infrastructure. And obviously it's very secure. You centrally manage it. That makes it much more secure and in the hands of one very highly capable IT team. What they do with this is central management of the infrastructure and monitoring in the IT space. Very common use case, you might say, across the world, now more and more established. Why is that? Because IT is so easy to manage, and the IT department knows how to manage IT devices. So that's straightforward. But what if you go one step further, and that's the big trend that we're seeing, is what if you say, I have very different machines around the world. I'm not an IT company or a consumer goods company. Maybe I'm a production company, and I have deployed machines all over the world. And how do I manage these machines? How can I solve complex problems in this environment, which is for IT people a very different environment because it touches operations, very different value drivers, very different processes. So important to converge these two worlds. And let me give me one example. Japanese company, but also global, Mazak, a machine tool manufacturer. I think 65,000 machines deployed globally. And if you think about how the traditional service and maintenance and troubleshoot model of these companies was, people jump on the plane. They either have a local service partner, very well trained. If that doesn't work, somebody jumps on the plane, travels, and is the expert that brings knowledge to the site. Mazak now uses remote connectivity. So they have a very easy way of remotely connecting into all these different machines and do the remote monitoring, repair, troubleshooting, adjustments, all remotely. They can be very proactive, of course, because you have a very simple dashboard. You see what's going on across your global environment. You see the different machines, you can access the machines, and you can get a very, very good first view of what's wrong or what might be a problem in the future. So you can be much more preventive in your approach than you have been before. A very nice way of transferring the concept of global central IT management to global central OT management. And more companies are going this direction because that's where, for them, the value is. You can imagine that Mazak has also internal IT, but the value is in the production footprint with their customers. So very interesting case, and it still doesn't require anybody to be on site for a very large number of tickets or problem cases that are occurring. That's the step where many OT operational companies are going now. But what if you need a person on site? What if you have a physical problem, somebody has to do something physically, repair with a screwdriver or with a measurement instrument? What do you do then? And for this, we have many examples where companies go the next step now. They use augmented reality, mixed reality workflows for semi-experts or para-experts, that we call it, on site. So they have an expert in the headquarters. They rely on somebody being close to the machine, but they provide help to that person through I see what you see kind of technology. So you have the technician in front of the machine using any kinds of device, as you see here, phone, glasses, tablets maybe, and you look over this person's shoulder from the headquarters, from the expert center, and you help that person perform the maintenance repair job, and you obviously also document the repair job. You can distill learnings out of this. So very nice way of almost like have an assistant on site if you cannot solve the problem on your own. Now, if you think about all these examples, then it does change the logic of how you work. It's really a remote first approach versus in the past, the default answer would be send somebody to go there and solve the problem. Now you try in multiple stages. You first try remote. If that doesn't work, you try to have somebody who is already on site. And even in the very, very few cases where this doesn't work, somebody has to jump on the plane. So very significant cost reduction. Also, first-time resolution rates much, much higher. You can see here some statistics. 80% of electrical issues remotely fixed, because it's just checking in questions, checking the environment, and you can then solve the problem versus sending an expensive technician. So very good way of reducing cost and being much faster also in resolving issues. And those solutions, they are ready for prime time. So they're not only happening in industrial environments. It doesn't have to be a machine. It could also be humans. Very different case, as you can see here in the video. What I think one of my favorites is Australia, vast distances. If you want to see a patient or an old person and want to understand whether there is a significant medical problem or not, and you don't get the support, then you have to put these people to hospital or you have to send a doctor. That can take a very long time. With our solution, we enable clinical nurses which are in hospitals to interact with staff which is on site, close to the patient, and help them diagnose the situation and see whether somebody actually has to go to hospital. So it's an aged care provider uniting. They have rolled out the solution. They help, and by this, they have been able to reduce the hospital admissions very, very significantly. Because it's a pre-check, you enable and you empower people on site to do the right diagnostic with these types of augmented reality solutions. So you see how AR is moving from the IT tech space to the OT space, industrial space, and now even to services, to people-related services in care, in health, in elderly care, and in healthcare, and in medical. Very interesting case. And you've seen already that this empowers and enables people to work on site. And what we see as the next step is that companies use AR and MR to completely rethink their training processes. Classical training, you hire a person, as we had seen heard before in the panel, you hire somebody, there's onboarding, there's training weeks, you rely on training staff. But what people and companies do more and more is package the trainings into consumable modules that you can actually consume everywhere in the world at any time with just a little bit of technology. And if you take this example, it's a motorhome manufacturer, premium motorhome manufacturer, Heimer, or in German Hümer, and they have used that technology. They use mixed reality to build modules. They digitalize all their parts, all their vehicles, all their workflows, and they put it into a mixed reality training environment. And you can consume those trainings wherever you are at any time. You can have micro trainings, you can have refreshers, and you make yourself significantly less dependent on onboarding processes, available experts, or timing consideration. Whenever there is time, you can do these trainings and you stay up to date as a technician. And we see this happening more and more, that the whole training and onboarding flows changed and is then adjusted to what I've shown before, the instruction-based and help-based workflows in operations. So we believe there's a lot to come. The future workplace will look different. We will need to work with less people. We will need to skill people when they have the time. We are trying to integrate AR, MR, and also artificial intelligence to create these workflows and to automate more and more so that it's a faster deployment. And the goal is to make use of remote across industries, across processes, across departments, and thereby make work better, cheaper, less emissions, less travel, and often also better because it's a better service and faster service. Thank you very much.